Well, General Mike Flynn says the bridge collapse in Baltimore is a black swan event. Now, it's much bigger than we know, so let's unpack this. And I have to say, I've done everything over the past 24 hours since this collapse happened in the early morning hours to say nothing to see here, total accident, mechanical problem, of course. It looks like a mechanical failure, a power outage, nothing to see here, don't worry about it. Then General Mike Flynn has to go and call this a black swan event and says, look more deeply into this. So we have. And there's more than meets the eye. So what is a black swan event? Well, black swan event is, you're just chugging along, looking at normal, white swans that you normally see. Then suddenly everything seems predictable and normal. And then bam, giant black swan comes out of nowhere. Something totally unexpected blindsides you. Usually happens economically, right? We see that obviously with what happened in the 2008 collapse. That's exactly what a black swan event looks like. That's the essence of the swan event. Unexpected, impactful, often leaving us scrambling to make sense of what in the world just happened. So here's Mike Flynn's post on X this afternoon. This is a black swan event, he says. Black swans normally come out of the world of the finance, not military. The standard operating procedures for all U.S. ports, harbors, and bays that transit commerce and military activities are supposed to maintain an incredible level of discipline, rigor, and awareness for these very type of events not to occur ever. Yet here we are. There are harbor masters for every single one of these transit points in America that are in charge of assuring the safety of navigation. Start there, he says. So start there. Talk to the harbor masters. Don't necessarily look at the boat itself. That's maybe a red herring. Look at the harbor masters. Look at the infrastructure. Look at the electrical infrastructure. Look at the computers. Was it hacked? So look at that information, not just the boat itself, perhaps. So what do we know? Well, for one thing, we know the captain of the ship, or the ship's master, is Ukrainian. That's interesting. So here you can find that out easily by going to balticshipping.com. You can punch in the information as we did here at Redacted. Go to the Dolly. The name of the ship is the Dolly. There you can see where it's currently sitting. It's now sitting there covered by a bridge right in Baltimore in the Chesapeake Harbor in Baltimore. And there is the ship's master. He is Ukrainian. Interesting. And UK Telegram channels today posting congratulations to great work and to expect more surprises in Europe, too, unless we approve more aid to Ukraine. Maybe it's a total coincidence here, these Ukrainian Telegram posts. This is a beautiful work all over the world without hesitation. If you don't accept the aid package, then get it. Look forward to our surprises throughout Europe. We will teach you to defend democracy and help those who need it.
Huh.
So maybe,
I haven't seen anything like that. Yep.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, maybe this is just some like Telegram opportunists, on different Telegram channels just trying to play into this, right? Try to scare us. Or maybe there's something more to it. Who knows? But those posts exist on Ukrainian Telegram channels.
It's like the Goodfellas. You got this? F you, pay me. You do this? F you, pay me. Like,
yeah.
We're that kind of attitude.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And there would have been a Chesapeake Bay pilot on board also. So anytime you're going in and out of one of these harbors, you're going in, even if you're going into Norway and you're going into Stavanger, like the port of Stavanger in Norway, you have to wait outside of the channel. You have to wait until the Stavanger pilot comes on board. Just the same you have to do here in the Chesapeake Bay. A Chesapeake Bay pilot needs to assist the master and is on board. They know everything about this harbor. They know every detail of it, and they are going to guide you out. You're from Singapore? A Chesapeake Bay pilot will be on board and guiding this ship out. And that's what was happening. This ship was being guided out of port on its way out to sea and transporting large amounts of cargo. So it was leaving. It was almost about to leave. And here's the video of the incident. So we're going to watch this incident kind of in real time with some highlights on how this all breaks down here. So at about the first reel, we sped it up a little bit here. It's sped up a little bit here. You can see at about the 12-second mark. So This is going to go on for about 30 seconds. Okay, there's power loss number 1 at about 12 seconds. Okay, then at about 22 seconds, it recovers power. So it comes back on here. And then you see black smoke coming out of the engine, out of the whatchamacallit, the funnel. And then immediate evasive maneuver, the stack. Yeah. Then immediate evasive maneuvers take place. Helicopter, images show that, in fact, one of the anchors was dropped on the port side. And there you have the smash and collapse of the bridge. Now, we also know, according to the mayor, that as a result of that, when they called in a Mayday call a few seconds before impact, they were able to divert traffic on the bridge, thankfully. And workers were able to stop and halt traffic coming across the bridge, which is why more people were not trapped on the bridge. There weren't more cars on the bridge at that time. So at least they had enough to say, Mayday, Mayday, where we've lost control, we don't have control of the ship, get people off the bridge, and they were able to prevent at least a lot more people from being killed or missing as a result of this. So, but this is interesting. So journalist Michael Yon tweeted this afternoon, and this is a more detailed analysis of the ship leaving. Okay, so it's coming off the dock there and heading out into the open ocean. And you can see here, though, how it changes course right before it loses power, which is interesting. So now this is where things, to me, get really interesting. Why 2 minutes before? Keep playing it if you would. Or did it stop? Yeah. So, all right. Now, right here, you're going to see it change course before losing power and colliding. So why did it change course aiming directly into the pylon? It's a curious question, right? So why did it change course at that point? We don't know. Why? Why did it change course? Now, if you lose power and you have to use some sort of a backup steering system, in some cases you might be steering in the opposite direction of what you're used to. It's a reverse steering system. Now, I don't know if this ship was set up that way or not. This will be part of the investigation, I'm sure. So, and sometimes with backup power, that is the case with a steering column.
And also, isn't it kind of curious, like, those pylons have to be, like, they had to think about a boat running into those when they built that bridge, right? So one pylon going out collapses that much of the bridge? That seems like, that doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? Like, a boat could take out a pylon, like a whole bottom of the bridge. That doesn't make sense.
Well, U.S. bridge infrastructure is built like 200 years ago. I don't know when the Francis Scott Key Bridge was. Yeah, I don't know when this bridge was built, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, I've driven over it since, I think, childhood. Like, I grew up, my father's from Baltimore. I used to go down to the Chesapeake Bay and go crabbing. So me going down to like St. Michael's, going down to Chesapeake Harbor. One of my favorite foods in the world is Maryland blue steamed crabs. It is my actually, I will say it's my favorite food in the world. And so special times with my father going down there. And he used to go crabbing as a child. I don't know when this bridge was built, but I can tell you I remember driving over it for many, many years of my life. And also it's a symbol.
I doubt when it.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I doubt when it was built, though. It was built for, like, what wasn't that, like 120,000 tons of ship that hit it?
Right. Yeah. So, and maybe someone can let us know. 1977. Okay. So I was born in 1976. Yeah. So it's been around as long as I've been alive. So, interesting. Yeah, I don't know exactly what impact it's meant to absorb one of these massive ships. Doubtful. I don't know that anything could stop that. Can you build something that would prevent this? I don't know. I mean, think about this ship hitting any bridge in America would wipe it out. If this thing hits the Golden Gate Bridge, it would probably collapse the Golden Gate Bridge, right? You would think. The massive size of this thing disrupting one pylon and all of it comes down like a house of cards. I don't know. Anyway, so now I want to play this for you. So that was, you saw the track coming out and you saw it changing its direction at about 2 minutes left before impact. But now I want to show you this 8 times speed video that's been making the rounds this afternoon as well, which I found interesting, and we'll share it here, which shows how much it had to divert itself. Look at, or how it moved position. Watch this. So let's keep playing this here. Like, look how much it had to swerve in order to hit this pylon. Total change of direction when you see it in that kind of speed. With that kind of movement. Really crazy to look at. As Laura Logan tweeted this afternoon, the GPS systems that drive these boats are not encrypted. Journalist Laura Logan, one of the best journalists in the world. The GPS systems that drive these boats are not encrypted. When a Navy ship crashed into a large cargo ship not that long ago, it was a cyber attack that made that happen. I know they're saying that this was not nefarious, but how do they know so quickly? Right, that's a great question. How do they know so quickly? We keep over the past week, we've sort of been joking about the Biden administration. Like, really, they were so quick to tell us that ISIS was responsible for the Russian theater attack, right? They told us within like minutes that that was the case. Yet they still can't tell us who killed John F. Kennedy. We still can't provide details about the 9/11 attacks. They can't tell us who blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, but they were that fast to tell us that it was ISIS. They were lying to us, of course. So
the same way they immediately found the passports on 9/11. Like,
yeah, they're laying in dust.
All the rubble.
It's right there. There's
a passport.
Here are the passports of this guy. Look at this. It's not even charred or anything. But let's take a closer look at one last thing here. Why would explosions go off at these locations? So I've highlighted here in white where you're noticing the bridge. Now I've slowed it down a little bit here. Here's the first collision, and you'll notice an explosion. Then here you notice another one, and here another one. Watch this again. So here we go again. I'm going to replay it a second time for you. So on the left side here, first collapse, and could this be some sort of, why would there be an explosion? A transformer blowing? Or is it something worse? And in this piece as well with an explosion. What is that? President Biden says nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. He travels this way all the time, you know, and there's nothing to see here. There's nothing nefarious as far as they can tell.
And we're going to rebuild that port together. This was a terrible accident. At this time, we have no other indication, no other reason to believe there's any intentional act here.
No intentional act here. Okay. We do know that this same ship, though, had a history of events. This was in Antwerp in Belgium. This exact same ship back in 2016, the Natali, ran into a quay on July 11th, 2016, as it tries to exit the North Sea. So it kind of scraped the back of it. I wonder how often these things happen. Like, is this a common occurrence here? Or is this a rare thing for one of these massive container ships to do this? So it hit the quay. I mean, I know that they have those big rubber pylons to protect and so forth, but here it is. It was cleared for, it was cleared for duty and went back out to sea. And of course, at the time, it was under a different sea captain. It was not under the helm of a Ukrainian. Different captain at the time when this happened back then as well. So that happened in 2016. So a black swan event, more that we don't know here. We're going to have to look more deeply into the harbor masters and the connections with the ship. Who was monitoring this the whole way? And was there any electrical cyber attack that took place on board the ship? Laura Logan brings up a great point, but those are all of the facts right now. That's what we know about the direction of the ship, those explosions that took place. Were they simply transformers blowing on those particular pieces of the bridge that fell and broke apart? Why were there multiple power outages, and what happened to the backup system on this? And what about the Chesapeake Bay pilot who was on board? What can they tell us about what happened here? So all of these things, and the Biden and White House saying nothing to see here, nothing nefarious. Do you think that's the case? Let us know in the comments below what you think about this. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. You know, YouTube thinks that you'll actually like this next video right here. It's personalized based on your own viewing habits. So if you watch the video, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it, and we will see you next time, everyone.